Hello and welcome to Real Menopause Talk. My guest today is Gloria Smythe. Gloria understands fashion and women, which is obviously a winning combination when it comes to styling, particularly in midlife. Her positive attitude is contagious, and despite her beast of insomnia right now, she is embracing the menopause for the transition that it truly is. I've spent years criticising myself in shop changing rooms if something doesn't fit properly, blaming my waist to hip ratio, my legs are too short, you name it. But Gloria puts me right and explains why we should all stop blaming our own shape. We had such a fun chat, sharing her experience of menopause, her top tricks and tips for confident dressing, and even a bit of a natter about the celebs at the Met Gala. I hope you enjoyed Gloria's company as much as I did. Before we continue, I have a very exciting announcement to make. Real Menopause Talk is proud to announce Cozy Earth as its very first sponsor. I've been intentionally picky when it comes to agreeing to sponsorship because I want to offer you, the listener, quality and added value. And I feel Cozy Earth does exactly this. Their temperature-regulated bed linen, no more night sweats and hot flashes, seriously, is one of the softest creations I have come across. Go to cozyearth.com using code MENOPAUSE for a massive 35% discount and discover it for yourself. To start off with then, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Where do I start? No, obviously my name's Gloria Smythe and I started off with fashion, when I was growing up, went to London College of Fashion, got my degree in clothing technology, which means that I design, pattern cut, grade and sew, the whole shebang. Did that for 3 years and then I actually was working freelance, doing different patterns and things for designers, then started doing wedding dresses for myself. And then obviously life changed and you just think, God, I'm not earning enough money here. So then I actually found a job, but I was still doing work for myself, making evening wear, because evening wear is what I like to do. Moved into all different areas, within industries, was even cabin crew at one point.
Oh, wow.
But it was always still being this passion of mine about fashion and wanting women to look good. And then I entered menopause 6 years ago coming up for, and obviously started to notice all these changes that was descending and thinking, oh, nothing fits the way it used to, nothing looks right, and plus you've got all the symptoms that came with it. And obviously because I do have that fashion background, it's easy for me to walk into a store and perhaps find something that I can mix and match or layer.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought to myself, well, I know that only because of my background, but what about other women? I did a course to qualify as a stylist, which then just enhanced already what I knew, and wanted to do this niche area. And I didn't want to just be styling every and anybody. I wanted to really niche it down, and hence menopause stylist.
How fantastic. What an amazing trajectory. And finding a niche, I think, is absolutely crucial these days and really rewarding, obviously. So if you went to the London College of Fashion, are you London born and bred?
London born and bred, always in Southeast London. Hurrah. It's just always been my thing. I just love the city. I like going into the country for breaks, but drag me back to the city, please. I need to go back. Well, it's one of the capitals for fashion. I just think for everything that goes on, it seems to come out of the London area and then affect other places. But yeah, London's just been me. Always has been. I've been around the world. That's the worst thing about it, because when I was cabin crew, I travelled everywhere. And if it's not London, it's New York for me.
I feel the same. As a fellow born Londoner, my husband and I have had that conversation about, should we leave? Should we go somewhere else?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's it. It's just because I keep saying to my daughter, well, we might need to consider moving out of London. She's going, no.
Yeah.
No. And where she's now, she just turned 18, finishing off her A levels, and she's looking to get into the fashion industry herself in PR and magazines and editorial, all that side of it, not necessarily the design side of it.
Mhm.
And obviously, those universities are London.
Yeah. And we've got some wonderful, influential designers who've come out of London and are to be
Absolutely.
celebrated. So tell us about your experience of menopause, how you went through it, and were you aware of perimenopause at the time? Because 6 years ago, to be through menopause, it wasn't spoken about so much.
I think my journey it came as a shock to me. I've always been this sort of person that I don't think about things until it happens. That's just me. And obviously, in my background as, Caribbean parents, anything to do with menopause is never spoken about.
Mhm.
Just don't mention it. You just go through it, but you don't mention it. So obviously there's me 50, 51 thinking, oh God, what's everybody talking about? This is a bit of a breeze. Yeah, obviously I hadn't even entered it yet. And then it was this initial shock. I remember it was in July and I was sitting in my house, July 2016. That's how memorable it was. And I remember sitting there thinking, why is it hot? But but then it would come, then it would go. And I kept thinking, but it's not even warm. And as time went on, it was like these odd, sporadic flushes that was coming. Still not thinking about menopause. And then as the months went on, we're going into winter months. I'm now sitting there thinking, no, it's really warm. And it takes a lot for me to feel warm. And I'm thinking, and I've got this fan sitting there with this fan under my neck going, still not thinking menopause, because Gloria doesn't think about anything like that. And then eventually I started to get them really often, especially at night.
Right.
But it was just from the neck upwards. It wasn't anywhere else. And then I thought, no, hold on, something's not right. Obviously, periods had now stopped. So I went to my GP and I said, I think something's going on. And he's going, well, you're probably in the menopause. I was going, no.
Yeah.
Again, just not, no, I'm silly, not in the menopause. Turned out, yes, it was. I was perimenopause at that point. And with that then came the insomnia, which is still an issue for me 6 years down the line.
Gosh.
So the insomnia is pretty intense for me. And I think for me as well, I already had bits of insomnia from when I used to fly because I was going from different time zones and, just going back and forth. So I already had a bit of it, but when I entered perimenopause, it got really bad. It was the insomnia, the hot flushes. Then I started getting joint pain when my ankles and my knees were so swollen. And again, that was apparently it was a severe vitamin D deficiency,
Right.
which I didn't realize was some parts of the menopause as well. And I was like, what is going on? I just feel like I'm collapsing all over the place. Like everything's just like, went to my GP again and he was like, look, let me give you something to help with the hot flushes. I think sometimes when you've got all of that, it just really consumes you.
Mm-hmm.
So he listened. I mean, I've got to say, I've got a good GP. He actually listened to me. And then he said, look, I'm going to give you something. Try it, see how you get on for a month or two, and then come back and see me. Anyway, obviously it was a form of HRT. And within 2 weeks, I was like, oh, no hot flush. So again, once the hot flushes had gone, I was like, yeah, I can cope with anything else because then I got the vitamin D tablets and instantly that helped my joints. But then, you still get up some days and you still feel like, oh, this is too much. I'm just tired because the insomnia is still going on
Mm-hmm.
and the weight gain. And again, that's something that a lot of women come to me about. I kept thinking, am I fighting this or am I embracing this? Because the more I fought it, the more it was just like, and I had to stop that. So what I did is I just said, you know what, this is where I am. I'm in it. I can either accept it or I can keep on fighting it and get nowhere. So I just sort of like changed my mindset about the whole thing and just thought, well, is there things that I can take that can help me cope a lot better, in terms of a lot of the joint pain. And as I said, insomnia is my beast right now. So I think by changing my mindset about the whole thing, coming into like, year 2, 3, and as time's gone on, I've just gotten to that point where, yeah, I'm all right with it. I am all right with it, and it's just it's not something I can say I can switch off tomorrow. It's not going to happen that way.
Mhm.
It's all part of, you know, a woman's journey. We go through the puberty, we go through the pregnancy, those that are fortunate to have that. And so, your next transition has to be this. So, if I could celebrate my pregnancy, why am I not celebrating this part of my life
That's a
also?
fantastic way to look at it. It really is, because I do believe that it's very important to highlight the potential dangers and the
Yes,
potential very, very serious effects or symptoms that
of
menopause can
course.
have. But I also really believe in the positive side.
Yeah,
And like you said, celebrating it. There is a lot to celebrate.
there is.
So, how do you celebrate it?
For me, I get up every day and I'm just like, yeah, I'm all right. I've got up this morning. Everything's fine. And I think for me, I think the realization of this as well was when we had COVID
Mm-hmm.
and you're seeing people passing and, you know, family members suffering in their own way. And I'm just thinking, well, if I can get up every day and all I've got is probably a bit of insomnia or I might have a bit of joint pain, I'm good. I should be really grateful for that. So for me, every day I get up, I'm just like, yep, what should I put on today that's going to give me some colour? What am I going to say out there today? And I'm very much, I'll go into offices and it's like, anybody got a fan? And they go, what do you need a fan for? And, the one key word I hate, oh, I'm not at that age yet. Oh my goodness, if you want to trigger me, say that. Because, I'm just like, so what age is that? I'm sorry. What age is this? Because, it's still this thing, and society's made it's an age thing when it's not, which
Oh,
we know.
completely not. No.
And I'm always just like, keep on reiterating age, no age. I said, do your research. And I'm always saying to women, because to me, as women, we should really be educating ourselves about this. And we need to be educating that. And, with my daughter, I tell her every day, come to terms with this because it is going to happen. And don't think it's an age thing. Don't think you've got to be 30, 40, 50. It can trigger at any age. And, I'm saying to her, don't ever say age. It's got nothing to do with that. Educate, educate, educate. So for every time I see something, I'll be reading it going, oh, yeah, I can relate to that. Or, oh, I didn't know that symptom. Like dry mouth the other day, I was like, oh, yeah, I get that all the time. I thought it was just thirst.
Same here.
But it's not, is it? It's just one of the symptoms. And it's about knowing the symptoms and being aware of the symptoms and just thinking, oh, okay, it's just part of it. Until we start educating, how are we going to start celebrating? And until women start talking, and I'm not talking about your celebrities, I'm just saying women in general. It's just really something that I'm just so passionate about that we need to change our mindset around it because it is seen as a negative and it is not a negative. For me, it's bad enough that we have the pressures in society about women and age,
Mm-hmm.
that once you get to a certain age, you're no longer worthy. There's also an issue, I think, in the fashion industry where they obviously feel that once you get past your 20s, you're no longer worth dressing. And if you are worth dressing, the only thing you should have is an elasticated waist with no form of fitting or shape or style to it. I can't deal with that. We are so society led that until we do change that and stop being influenced by that, we will continue to keep on going down this road of the menopause is a negative thing.
Technically, we're really coming into the prime of our lives.
100%.
What do women come to you in need of?
A lot of women that come to me are definitely struggling with the first thing they say is, I feel frumpy, I feel ugly, I feel fat. And it's more about this problem of the mid area, because that is, of course, where we put on the weight, where, you've gone from perhaps in a nice enough stomach, and then all of a sudden you're now quite rotund around that area, and how they can dress that, or, in the breast area that's got bigger, or
Mm-hmm.
they just don't know how to accommodate that. And it's just different things, hip areas, you got increased weight on the hips. And all I'm keep saying, I think the one thing that I always say to my clients is you're dressing as if you were dressing for you 2 years ago. You need to dress for the you today, accept the you today, and therefore that means you got to get rid of that stuff, because the more you see it, the more it makes you feel bad because you can no longer fit that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is about understanding that you now have to really change your style of dress. So if you have got the weight gain around the tummy area, it's about what kind of clothing are you wearing, because we know that, anything that cuts the waist, which is probably going to be, as we said, an elastic waisted waist, straight away put that on, that then bulges out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about understanding if you're wearing a waistband, something as simple as that. A waistband can change. I'm not saying it gets rid of it, flattens you out, or anything like that, but things that can cut you in half quite severely, it's about wearing waistbands instead. The higher the waistband, the better. Or about knowing how to layer your clothes and knowing fabrics,
Mm-hmm.
just to help with your flushes. So it is about re-educating your style of clothing. But as I said, you go into a shop and you think to yourself, well, who are they catering for? Are they catering for the 20s, catering for the 30s? Who are they catering for? But then I always think about, there's some stores I walk in and I just circle it and come back out. Nothing in there. I know it. Then there's others I go in there and I'm like, well, I can mix and match in here.
Mm-hmm.
For clients, I can do it quite easily because I can see it. And I can also see, I think one of the things that women always say to me, yeah, but it doesn't fit right. And they think it's them, but it's not necessarily the woman. It's more about the actual cut for that company, their block
Mm-hmm.
patterns. So their block patterns, as you can go to one store and you can buy a size 12 or a size 14. It's like, oh God, this is a bit small. Going to another store and it's a perfect fit. They
Yeah.
all cut different blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time, oh yeah, but it's pulling here. And I'm going, yeah, because this is too short. Get rid of
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's just because I have that background training. So I'm always saying it's not you, it's often the cut of the clothing that just doesn't fit your body shape.
I've also fallen into the trap over the years of getting absolutely hooked on a number. I have to fit into
No,
this size or that
no.
size. And I know with different brands, even it will be a different number, but there's a range of number. And if it
Yes.
goes over that number, I'm not going anywhere near it.
No,
Which
don't.
is ridiculous because it should be how it fits, how it feels. Because some of the waist
Absolutely
cut things can be so uncomfortable as well.
unbearable. And I'm
Mm.
always saying to them, don't look at size. I mean, for instance, if I go into Zara, which again, their clothes don't fit me, fact. And I picked up something, and I mean, it was a double XL, but a double XL is a 14 to a 16 in there.
Oh, right.
But nobody knows this, so they're just
No.
thinking, oh my God, I've gone double XL.
Hmm.
No, double XL is a 14 to a 16. It's that simple. But then I have to buy things that, because sometimes, because I'm tall and I need like the sleeves to be a bit longer, sometimes I have to notch it up one, because otherwise it's, half cutting up on my wrist. So it doesn't work for me. And then I can go into other stores and I can buy size 14 and it's just like, yeah, perfect fit. It's fine, got the length, got everything. And I can go to another store and it's just like, hell no, this is not even going past my thighs. So what's going on here? And then I think, sometimes those mirrors, oh my goodness,
And the lighting, shocking.
it's horrific, absolutely horrific. So again, it just puts more pressure on us to feel, oh God, look at the state of me, nothing fits. Da, da, da. No, no, I'm not about that. I'd rather, as I said, my daughter's going, I'll go and try it on. No, thanks. I'll get home and try it on, because I know the lighting, the mirrors in there. So I bring stuff home, even if it means I've got to take it back, I'll do that. But I'd rather try it on in the comfort of my own home,
Hmm.
have a look at it for myself, and then I can put some shoes on with it, see if it matches, if it doesn't, if I don't like it, straight back, no problem. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm not doing that.
Clothes shopping can be stressful, and it should
It,
be a time of so much fun and
it
pleasure.
should be,
Mm.
but
Do you
it's
ever
not. It's not for a lot of women.
do you ever find that women come to you and they feel frumpy and a bit lost, and then they discover a new style and a new way of dressing that they then embrace full on?
Yeah, I think for me, as a stylist, I don't just look at, right, let me go and dress you, let me clear your wardrobe. My first thing is, when I'm working with women, is to find out where they are in their actual journey. How are they feeling today as a woman who may be perimenopausal or post? What are you thinking? Do you feel, oh my God, I'm frumpy, I'm fat, I'm lost, I don't know what to do with my life, I don't know where I am, everybody's moving on and I'm still stuck? What is it? Because until you sort of like open that area up within someone, it's no point in you dressing them because all that's going to happen is you're going to go straight back to the old way because the old way is comfortable, even though you hate it. So that is one of the first things. I'll probably have quite a few conversations just around that and then working out what is their personality because style is about your personality, let's face it.
Yep.
So, there are some that are very corporate dressy, all very straight down the line, got to look a certain way. You get some women that love colour, very much out there, love all of that. And then you get some people that are just more leisure wear. They just like their track suits or, the chenille suits and things like that. It's just fine. But I think the one thing is that you really have to find a woman's personality. What is her actual personality within her? Because once you find that, you can easily dress them easily. Because I know there's some people that are very reserved and, oh no, don't do that, don't do that. And then you get a bit more within me going, well, actually, that's not true, is it? You really do have something about you, but you're just too scared to possibly do it. And then they'll say, when I was younger, I used to do this. And so I said, well, there it is then. But you just don't have the confidence to do it now. So let's just start off with small baby steps. Let's try a top. Let's try some accessories. Just zhuzh it up slowly but surely. But you do always come to a point where you say, there's that moment, there's that personality within you. Why are you not dressing that? Screw what everybody else thinks. Who cares? It's about you.
It's a great point in our lives to be able to get to that as well, having maybe had to dress a certain way or been
Yes.
encouraged to, or wanting to fit in. I definitely find that I want to fit in less and less these days.
Yes.
Don't really know what that's about, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Do you think that the pandemic has had an impact? Because certainly, again, for me, for one, I got so lazy. I'm only just rediscovering the joy of clothes now.
It did. It had a massive impact because it was more about, well, I don't have to go out anywhere. So why do I need to bother? We're in lockdown, so who cares? And so it was, we're all in our homes. We're not making an effort because we don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was another massive impact where it was no effort required. I'm at home. When some of us should have, I think, as in general, we should have been trying to make just that small effort, regardless of what, we should have still been doing it because, of course, what happened is the thing that I hear is I've gained so much weight from not going out or not going to the office or not doing any work. Now I've got to go back, nothing fits. Oh my God, I feel horrific. And it's just like, well, okay, it happened. Now it's what we're going to do to go forward with that. Okay, nothing fits you in your wardrobe now. Well, let's just try and fit the body that you've got today. If you lose the weight, all good and well, because you can start to go back into that wardrobe. If you don't, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just dress you today. But yeah, lockdown had a massive impact on women, massively. Men, no, I mean, we just know men just drag on a pair of trousers, shirt, good to go, or t-shirt.
Yeah.
Really doesn't phase them. But women, it is so much harder because of the pressure that you get to look a certain way.
It's also part of self-care, I feel, and maybe that's intertwined with the personality side, having not needed to really present ourselves either to ourselves or anyone else for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I put on one of my favourite pairs of shoes a couple of days ago and instantly felt more centered. Yes, lifted, literally, because they're very high, but also because I just felt more in control almost of myself.
And that is it. As you said, I say it's self-love. So you've got to love yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
There, as women, we tend to put focus more on our children, our partners, the home, and at some point you might throw yourself into that equation. But I think as we get older as well, and I'm not saying, this is aging, because it could be as you in your 20s, as you're getting older, going into your 30s, you really do need to start thinking about what self-love am I going to give myself now? And
Mm-hmm.
it may well be that, you go and get your nails done.
Yeah.
It may be that you get a massage. It may be that you buy yourself one item. It could be it could be shoes, a bag, accessories, new earrings, lipstick, something that you're going to actually wear because you've now treated yourself to something different. But don't sit there and just be focusing on everything else apart from yourself, because it does get to a point where you're going to start to realize how neglectful you have been to yourself. And then you're looking at mirror one day and it's going to be like, God, is this what I look like? What's happened?
Yeah.
It does happen. I mean,
It does.
sometimes I get up in the morning, I'm just like, geez, you look like you've just been dragged through some bush somewhere. What's going on here? I still think to myself, okay, right, go and get yourself sorted out. Even if you've got to put some mascara on, a bit of lip gloss on, go and get yourself sorted out.
And it does instantly make you feel
Of
a bit
course.
better about life even. It's the
Yes, of
little
course.
things. Yeah.
Very, very little. But what I keep saying I know that, the menopausal symptoms for some women is horrific.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, and it is hard for women to sort of like overcome those symptoms on the day and feel like they want to get up and do something. But I do also sometimes find that with the mindset as well, it does contribute to some of those bad feelings that we have, because it just makes us feel so negative about the whole situation, when sometimes we just have to get up and not allow the menopause to define us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It should be us defining the menopause. So, like I say, yeah, I'm in a menopause. I fly my flag. I don't have a problem with that. But it doesn't mean that you're going to say to me, oh, well, she's not really with it now. She's at that age, should be really going to sit down, be quiet in a corner. Hell no.
Absolutely not. No.
Quite the reverse.
Do you have any foolproof fashion tips for someone struggling either with their weight or maybe the hot flashes? Or obviously, you've just gone through a few lovely ideas of how to lift your mood.
Yeah.
Anything that would suit everybody?
I think I say 3 tips. I always say about colour. Now, colour can do so much to lift you.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do go on in age, you do start to realise that, your skin tone changes. It's not as vibrant and as radiant as it used to be. Your hair changes. It's not as glossy or as silky as it used to look. So, of course, when you start adding colour, all that just lifts, all of it. Add colour somewhere into what you wear. And it may be your accessories. It may be scarves. Because not everybody likes to wear. I mean, I wear any colour. I put on a bright. Yesterday, I was told I looked like Big Bird because I had a yellow jumper on, and I said, "But Big Bird looks glamorous today, so I can rock with that."
Feathers.
Yeah. So it's about just adding that colour to yourself. Then I also say about your fabrics, using more of your natural fabrics like your cottons are really important, because they are breathable fabrics. Now, we've got our polyesters, we've got our, viscose, which is in quite a lot of things. But what I always say is always look at the label and see how much cotton content it has in it, because it does help. You'll be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about often layering. So wear a vest top, because you can always layer on top of that and lift off as you're getting warmer. For every colour vest top there is, I get them. And I'll go to Primark, because do you know what? They're £1.50. As soon as I don't like them, chuck them in the bin. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
But with the tops, I'd say I'd put more money into that. And I'll go and buy some of the sheer tops that are really comfortable. They keep you cool. Or I'll buy like some cotton linen tops, the really thin ones that, again, are really light, that I can wear and keep me cool. And it is more about just knowing how to layer. And when you do layer, what you'll tend to find is that because you've got the vest top, which is already tucked you in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
When you put the tops on top of that, it's already giving you that sort of shape, but it just looks floaty after that. So I'm all about that. I'd say if you're wearing jeans or anything like that, wear high-waisted ones and make sure that they're more of a straight cut or a flare, which are coming in and they look so much better. And again, if you've got that hip weight gain around the hip and you're wearing something that is more of a straight cut or a flare cut, it takes away that emphasis on the hip because it just actually makes you look quite symmetrical and straight. So that's one thing. The other thing I'd say is we need to start wearing accessories more.
Right.
A lot more accessories, and we tend not to. So when I go out, I've got drawers full of accessories, and I just pull out something here. If I'm wearing something like a cotton, I'd wear something more, the layering of the chains.
Hmm.
But if I'm wearing like jumpers and things like you've got some big, bold, chunky jewelry, I put one of those on and just some earrings, and it's fine. For everything you do like that, for every time you look in that mirror, you see somebody completely different, and it is somebody who feels lifted.
I'm a little bit obsessed with the Met Gala, and
Oh yes.
my youngest daughter is as well.
Yeah.
So, given that that was a few days ago,
Yeah.
any standouts for you?
Yeah. I mean, I love the Met Gala. For me, Blake Lively. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. She stole that.
Oh, totally stole the entire show.
The whole thing. I mean, if I've looked at her over the years, and every time she just absolutely slays that show. But
Hmm.
this year, even the color on the actual fabric. Oh my God, it was just like, yeah, I love her. I absolutely love her. And I mean, yeah, Versace, she's slayed that again
The
this
whole
year.
colour changing, and I mean, just
Beautiful.
exquisite. And the drama, and the size, and the shape. I mean, yeah.
The structure of that whole thing. It was such a simple structure. Obviously, just a really fitted corset with obviously, the skirt half bit, but it was all about the train and the color, which, yeah, to me, that was her. And the other one I liked was Lizzo.
Oh, I didn't see Lizzo. What was she wearing?
Lizzo had an outfit that was created by Thom Brown, and it was a black dress, but it was
Hmm.
the more about the cloak that she had on with it. And I just thought for a woman that is more plus size, again,
Hmm.
she stole it, absolutely stole it. And she came out playing her flute, and I was just like, yeah, yeah, those two really stood out to me. But yeah, Blake, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
she's just exceptional. Although I have to say as well, Laura Harrier, the bodice on her sort of silver black dress,
Yeah.
and then the shape of the skirt as it went out, and then her hair, her makeup, the way she carried herself. I
And
thought she
that's the
was
simple thing, isn't
exquisite.
it? I do like that some of them are so simplistic. So when
Hmm.
you look at Blake again, she is just naturally attractive. She is.
Yep.
But again, if you look at her, she doesn't blast her face with a lot of makeup. Her hair is always quite simple. And I look at some of them there and I'm just like, who dressed you? What on earth were you thinking? I mean, as we know, Kylie Kardashian has just been mocked left, right, and centre. And again, I looked at that and I thought, okay, it's off white, but it's absolutely horrific.
I was sad that it was off white because I like them as a brand, as a
I
label.
thought that too. I was really surprised that they actually designed something that looked that horrific. And I think it was more the cap with the veil on it. And I'm like, well, who's going to ever wear that? But yeah, I was surprised because normally she looks really good. But then the after party outfits, her one
Mhm.
was absolutely stunning.
I missed that one. I saw Simone Ashley in her
Yes.
after party, which I actually thought trumped her main dress.
And that is what did happen. A lot of their after party dresses did actually trump a lot of the ones that, but of course, no one can top her.
No.
So, yeah, so the Met Gala is something that I do love to watch. It shows you, I mean, it's that point for a designer to come out and show what they can do. And, if you get that opportunity to dress somebody and they walk down that red carpet, you are set. I do love it, and I've been watching it for years.
It is a lot of fun, and looking at beautiful things, what is not to enjoy? It's a great
It
pleasure.
is.
With respect to menopause and aging and the way that
Yes.
women have pressure, how would you like to see it perceived and changed?
What I'd like to see more of, for one, in society, I'd like to see more women of an older age group being more representative in the media itself. I'm not just talking about films, I'm talking about magazines, because I know in some of I buy all the fashion editorial magazines, and again, you flick through them sometimes, you just think, well, do they think that other older women don't dress, or that we shouldn't be in a magazine, for instance? So I'd like to see more of that. I think as well, it's the perception of menopause. I think it should be more out there. It doesn't necessarily mean, menopause, but what it needs to be is that it's not an age thing. And we need to hear more of that. And there needs to be more education on this from a young age. If you can teach schoolgirls about puberty, you need to be doing more on the menopause, because it is hitting girls younger. But I'd also like to see more women embracing it, and the majority do not, because it's deemed as a negative, and it doesn't have to be a negative. Yes, the symptoms can be a negative, but the whole process doesn't need to be a negative. And it's about mindsets now being changed to say, I'm embracing this.
Bold, bright midlife, and to be celebrated all over the place.
And we're ageless too.
Gloria, thank you so much for your time. I have just loved our chat. It's been
thank you.
Great to meet you. Where can people find you?
So I've got a website called The Menopause Stylist, and I'm on Instagram as @TheMenopauseStylist. I'm also on a Facebook group called Style Empowerment in the Menopause, and on LinkedIn as well as The Menopause Stylist. So I'm all over the place, but more often than not, if anybody wants to join my Facebook group where we do chats, and I've done a couple of videos with guest speakers, join my group.
That sounds wonderful. And I will put all the details in the show notes for people as well.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a lovely weekend.
Take care, honey.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Gloria's details are indeed in the show notes. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Cozy Earth, creators of luxury bed linen, nightwear and loungewear. Their bed linens are softer than cotton, made from sustainably sourced materials and temperature regulated to help keep you cool at night. We talk a lot about sleep here at Real Menopause Talk, as we know how essential it is, and Cozy Earth bed linen is a winner. I've tried it myself, and it might not stop the snoring dog, but I have woken up feeling restored. They've even given us a fabulous 35% discount. So go to cozyearth.com using the code MENOPAUSE for a fabulous night's sleep. Please remember to spread the word and share the podcast with everyone you come across, as this is the way we will see the change that we are all aiming for. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.